Introduction to First Thessalonians. Author the Apostle Paul. Date written between AD 50 and 51. Title from Paul's first recorded letter to the church at Thessalonica. Background: Thessalonica is the capital city of Macedonia, a Roman province. When Paul arrives there um, it is a thriving trade center and a seaport of some 200,000 people. Paul's preaching brings many to faith in Jesus Christ, but intense persecution by unbelievers forces him to flee the city. Paul goes to Berea, where he leaves his companions, Timothy and Silas, to carry on the ministry. But the dissenting Jews from Thessalonica follow him there to incite a riot. Paul goes to Athens and then to Corinth, where he receives an updated report from Timothy on the Thessalonian Christians. This letter is Paul's response. Where written, Corinth, to whom? To the church at Thessalonica. Content. Among the first of Paul's letter, Thessalonians is written to encourage the young church at Thessalonica and to commend them for their diligent faith. Paul instructs the believers to live lives of holiness and orderliness, and includes a plea against sexual immorality. This dynamic fellowship is a constant source of joy for Paul. But some of the church misunderstand the second coming of Christ, thinking the believers who died before Christ's return will miss out on the resurrection. Paul assures them that the dead in Christ will indeed be the first to rise, and they then will be caught up together with those alive to meet the Lord in the air. The letter from Paul closes with various exhortations and blessings. Key words: steadfastness, second coming. Paul commends the Thessalonian believers for their steadfastness in faith despite their background of Greek paganism. At a time when the second coming of Christ is expected soon, Paul writes on the comfort, necessity, and certainty of Christ's return. Themes: God expects believers to be an example for unbelievers. Persecution is never a reason to leave God. Our ultimate victory is in Christ. The return of Jesus Christ is certain. Christians should pray for their church and their leaders. Living a sanctified life is God's will for every believer. Outline. Number 1, salutations is found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verse 1. Number 2, thanksgiving for the Thessalonian faith is found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 1, verses 2 through 10. Number 3, Paul's ministry in Thessalonica is found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 2, verse 1 through 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 12. Number 4, preparations for the coming of the Lord is found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 4, verse 13 through 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 11. And number 5, final admonishment is found in 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 12 through 28. May the Lord add a blessing to the introduction of 1 Thessalonians.